guys, welcome to Tomatoes, Poppies, and Everything Gardening. I have been busy working in my front yard to get HOA approved, not really approved, but I don't want them on my back. So I have been diligently going out there every night that I can spare after cooking dinner and working in the heat. I've got probably 60% of the front yard done at this point, but there's still a lot of work to do. And in this video, we're going to focus on the front walkway up by my front porch. So we're focusing on the right of the front porch, and there's a bed in front of the walkway, which we're looking at right now. And then there's a big bed on the back side of the walkway. And you can see I've got just a complete disaster. Even though I worked on this bed last fall, I worked on this bed last summer really well. It's overgrown again. Just complete madness. And the lemon balm cut it way back again. I did that like 8 weeks ago, but it's already grown back. And just showing you a few little things before we get started. That was a baby patio peach. These are blackberry lilies. They're pretty, but so invasive. You can see there's so much weeds that have tried to take over. And you're thinking, Heather, why didn't you just put your cardboard down like you normally do in the mulch and be done with it? It's because there's so many self-seeded plants that I want to save in this bed. I'll use this paper, just a thin layer, and cover up all the viola, and then put down mulch. And then maybe I'll relocate some coleus under this tree, or coleus might get too much sun. But these guys are doing okay-ish. They look a little faded. I did coleus under this tree last year. I don't know why the viola's just kind of toasted. But look at all these corns I'm growing just because of my bird feeder. Definitely probably going to pull those out, although it's kind of cool. Definitely would definitely get in trouble with the HOA though for growing corn. All right, so I'm going to work until 10:30. That'll give me a couple hours to work on this bed before it gets super hot. It's going to be 96 today, but I got all of that lemon balm pruned up. I'm going to crawl under here, make sure there's no weeds under the snow bark. But look at these blackberry lilies. They're fairly invasive, but they are pretty. And I kind of like how they've gotten really tall. And they're kind of filling in that gap there. It's really pretty. But we're going to weed, save all the volunteers that don't belong, like the coleus. You can see the Lithidora is about toast from the heat. We've had no rain for 2+ weeks. It's going to be another week or two before we get rain. So my water bill is going to be really high. Probably trim back that Dusty Miller. I don't know if you can see it. I'm going to get my pruners. We're going to cut all of the Asiatic lily back. They're done blooming. I could save the seeds, but it takes anywhere from 2 to 7 years to grow from seed. So that's what we're going to work today. That's what we're going to do today. Cutbacks, cleaning things up. I've got blackberry vines in this bed that need to go. The deer have been coming up here and trimming on those, but I need to get the roots out. We need to make this look better. I've actually got a knockout rose I'm going to replace my yellow rose with because it's very diseased. Look at that. And I hate to do it because this has sentimental value, but it's been struggling for years. So we're going to get that done. We're going to get this all cleaned up and mulched, all the weeds gone. And I have volunteer peppers in here too. I discovered that when I was weeding here. And that is just from me dehydrating peppers. And then this winter when I wanted to process the peppers, I was done with all the seeds. So I threw them here for the birds and I got a bunch of peppers growing. So I have those here. I need to get them potted up. Maybe it's cayenne, who knows? Yeah, we got a lot of weeds, And I'm going to stop here for just a minute, and you can watch me plant my sweet potato slips. I meant to make a video about it, but I think that time has long passed, so I'll just put a few little clips here, and you can see how I did that. So I started my process by pulling everything out of these planters that were growing over winter. I think I had broccoli and radishes and maybe pansies, I think. I'm going to take that weed out. I'm not sure what it is though, so I put it into a little pot just in case it might be something I want for later, but I think it ended up being a weed. I'm always worried I'm going to throw away something valuable. I wish I could get over that. But here are my sweet potato slips. So normally they're not standing in that much water. I just had put some water in there for some reason. I think to hydrate them right before I was getting ready to plant them. And so these started sprouting in my pantry. These are sweet potatoes I harvested late summer. We're going to use some bone meal, as you can see there. And we've got a balance, all-purpose. That's just what I had that day. So I did put some diatomaceous earth because when I was weeding that bed, there were so many creepy crawlies that I wanted to just let that diatomaceous earth sit there for a few hours, and that's what I did. And then I topped it all off with some fresh potty mix. I'm going to put one beautiful bubblegum pink petunia in each of these containers. And I think I ended up putting about 5 to 7 slips in each big container. Now these are really, really deep and wide pots. And I've grown my sweet potatoes like this for the last couple years, and they've done great in here. So you can see I just gently kind of pick a slip off, and it's still got the roots attached. And then you just bury it kind of at an angle. And I think I'm going to show you that here in just 1 second. As you can tell, I'm voicing over and I'm trying to remember everything I did. My memory isn't that great though sometimes. So let's see. Yeah, so that's about how many I think I put in each container. It should have been 5 to 7. And here we are. Here I am just quickly zooming through the burying of these sweet potato slips. And I left the sweet potatoes over there to grow some more slips just in case I want some for decorative use in the flower beds. And there we go. And this is what they look like now. Of course, the deer have been coming through and eating them, so I've been spraying them with my special hot pepper powder mix. There's no vinegar or anything in it. It's just powdered hot peppers and water. That's it. And it does help. You can see I've already got new growth, but they love to eat my sweet potato vines. And I think with these sweet potatoes, these are the sweet potatoes I use to make my vines. I'm going to use them as like a ground cover. Just plant the whole sweet potato and let the vines take off, just as like a pretty ground cover. Probably right over there in that new bed. They'll get lots of sun there. All right, guys, so I've got a plan. I'm going to get my big pruners because these stalks, you can also see where the deer have been eating the leaves. They like lilies. And these are the seed pods if you wanted to save the seeds. And I have before, but like I said, it takes forever. It's actually easier to propagate from a leaf. So this is where the flower was. The flower petals fell. This is the pod that's developing seeds. If you let it continue, and then once it dries out, you could save that whole set of seeds inside of there. All right, so most of these are trimmed. They've even been coming and eating on the lucifer bulbs, which they're supposed to be deer resistant. I think I'm gonna have to make a deer video. I tell you, they are just driving me nuts right now. But I don't even know where to start next. I'm thinking, since I have shade right here, we should weed this bed because it is really, really, really bad. There's so much that doesn't belong, but there's a lot of good stuff. So it's going to be a tedious, hands on your knees type situation where you're going plant by plant, weed by weed. Ugh, it's really looking bad. But look at all the 4 o'clocks. I just planted those, I don't know, a couple months ago. I have to look. I'll put some pictures here. I think yes, I did redo this section a couple months ago when I planted that Lithidora. I planted these perennial spikes, which they will be perennial for me. So that'll be some year-round color. I'll put some pictures right here. But before I do, look, straw flowers. These are volunteers as well. These are dwarfs, I believe, because one year I planted dwarf straw flowers in through here, and I think that those look about the right height. They're about 2.5, maybe, yeah, about 2.5 feet tall. So I think these are the dwarfs. So glad they volunteered because I did not start straw flower this year. And look at the mint. This is chocolate mint. It used to be in one container. It was in a container. I did not plant it in the ground, but it managed to escape the container. This container currently has freezer bulbs, or it did, but I noticed they got dug up and eaten. So there's several that probably are gone. I'll be lucky if there's just 1 or 2 left. Not sure why the squirrel or whomever likes to do that, but they do. They like to dig my bulbs and eat them. So, year 2, trying to remove chocolate mint from the ground. It's going to be nearly impossible probably, but if we hope to move in the next 1+ year, probably need to get this problem solved so that the new homeowners do not have to deal with the problem that I created, even though I tried to keep it in the container. We're going to remove all the chocolate mint and the blackberry vine. Thought I could control that blackberry. I put one little cutting on this trellis a few years ago, and I have been paying for it ever since. I should not have done that. I learned my lesson. I'm actually going to have to get into this shrub somehow to pull these canes. The problem is the vines are everywhere at this point. It's even over here too. So, hard lesson learned, one that I have to pay for continuously. But look at the calla lilies. They're looking pretty. So pretty, so pretty. And the Japanese iris, it's a white one. It was blooming, say, a month, maybe 5 weeks ago. Oh, that was so pretty too. All right, guys, time to get busy. Even though this is very daunting, very, 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 very scary job. To say I'm procrastinating is very mild term. I did pull a couple vines, but it's a lot of work. It's hot already. It's like 80, 90 at like 8 a.m. But I wanted to show you one more thing. I did stick a couple extra sweet potato slips in here, 2 in each pot. And then we will go plant those soon over there. Not today. But look what I found. This is a spider flower, and deer hate it. And this is the main reason I grow it. It will end up getting very spiky spikes on the underside of the leaves, and it stinks too. Beautiful flowers though. It is a trap crop also for like harlequin bugs. I'm gonna have to relocate it, and it's gonna be hard since it's so big. I have to wait till tonight when it cools off and then water the heck out of it. I do see a zinnia. So there's a lot of good things in here. Just need to take my time and go slowly. Now this is creeping Virginia creeper. That's a weed. Some people actually like to grow it though, but not me. Not me. I'm trying to stay in the shade here. There's very little left. Working on these blackberry vines, you can see how they become just a nuisance. And they just spread and spread and spread. I've already dug up about, I don't know, 4 or 5. But look at this root. So this can produce many, 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 many offshoots. So I'm going to take my time, try to dig up as much as I can, and hope that this year will be the year I eradicate that one mistake, that one little bitty blackberry sapling that I planted 3 years ago. So I'm finding a few things over here. According to my plant app, this is adder's fern, which would be a Virginia native. I don't know though. So I think I'm going to leave it and just see what happens. I'm thinking maybe it came to my house when I planted this Japanese lily. Oh, I'm sorry, it's a Japanese iris. I may have said that wrong earlier. And then according to my app, which can be wrong sometimes, this is a flowering dogwood. kind of unlikely that that is what that is as well. So I'm not sure if I should try to keep them, pull them, not sure. And then I'm thinking I may go ahead and cut the Dusty Miller back, even though it's starting to produce seed. These will dry out probably 1 to 2 weeks and then have seeds. But I saved a bunch of these seeds last year, so I think I'll just cut it back. Even though the yellow is still so pretty, the bees really love it. Maybe I'll just cut the ones that are brown. Huge difference already. I have been pulling the mint from this area as well. I'm going to leave this. I think there's a couple getting ready to open. Look at those. So pretty. And I think we're going to collect the seed pods here. I feel like there might be seeds in there. So I'm going to collect. Let's see what we got going on. Actually, this looks like the seed pod here. So this probably is not, but I'll look inside. No, this is just dried up flower. Okay. So it looks like I might have one seed head forming. This one. Nothing here. That might be the only one. So I'm going to leave it to develop. Oh, there's another one. Yay. Okay, good. So we got 2. We'll harvest those when they're completely dry and brown. It's time to go in for a quick break because it is so hot. So hot, guys. Okay. I think I've made it to the point where I can dig up the rows. And I am still digging up more and more blackberry canes. And it's probably not going to be the end of them. Here's another vine. Oh, I feel like I just did this. I just did this in the fall. All right. Everywhere I try to weed, guys, guess what? I hit a pocket of ants. Like, ants are just everywhere. Thankfully, these are just the little guys, but they may still try to get me. I don't know. I think I'll just keep working and hopefully they stay where they're at. So I got a lot of weeds here. So this is nut grass. I don't even know where it comes from. It just pops up everywhere. And thankfully it's not too hard to pull out. But you can see I've got tons of it in here. So it is kind of fun to pop out because it makes a sound usually. Let's see. Well, it's hard to tell with the guy cutting the grass across the street, but lots of nut grass in here, lots of other weeds. So we're making progress here on this back side of the bed. And there's a lot of the celosia. And it's going to be gorgeous, and it self-seeds so easily every year, but there's just too much. So I've got a big pile of it that I will relocate. It transplants very well as self-seeding easily. So I'm going to thin it. Not sure, maybe like one every 6 to 8 inch diameter. And then I will probably put some of those peppers back. Maybe do about, I don't know, 2 to 4, maybe 5 peppers. Mixed in with the celosia. They're both very good companions. And I think they'll do fine right here. And nobody can see them from the HOA, so that'll be perfect. I'll hide some peppers here, some volunteer peppers. Alright, so it's lower 90s right now, but humidity is only 65-70%, so it feels great out here compared to the last week and a half. You can see weeded. Probably should thin the celosia a little bit more, and I may, but I went ahead and put some peppers, the volunteer peppers, and I'm going to keep working that way. But the sun is shifting, so I think I'm going to come work on this section, the front here first. And there's a big old spider flower there we need to relocate somewhere, although it is flowering. I have to think about that. Taking a little shade break. So got the dianthus pruned just a wee bit, took off all the dead stuff, and watered it. Everything was really dry, even though we got just a teeny weeny bit of rain last night. We have not had rain for like 2 to 3 weeks solid, nothing. But I'm looking at the spider flower and I'm thinking it's going to get huge. That is at least 3 to 4 feet tall and about equally as wide. So we need to go find somewhere to put it. Love this plant. It is one of my deer plants that I grow just to keep the deer away. So let me go think. It's kind of a hot day, but it's not as hot as it's been. So I don't know how well it's going to take the transplant. I just know I can't keep it here because it's going to get really big. I'll move it here. So I shifted a few little things, these little bunny things, to the left. I'm going to move that pot to the left and just leave a tiny walkway to get back in there. And then I'm going to move that spider flower just to the right of where the pot is now. You can see I did transplant a few when I redid this bed, but they are taking forever. I don't know if they're stunted. They were just transplants that I found and I dug up and I relocated here. These two are actually kind of doing better and I think they'll do fine. Not sure about the other ones up here. So I'm going to move that one right there, but look, the gladolias are opening. One of my least favorite plants, but just because I don't like the falling over and the mess. My original plan was the spider flowers would grow quickly and they would help support them, but that didn't work out. They are pretty though. They are pretty. Alrighty, there we go. I watered the hoe extremely well before I even transplanted this guy, and I dug up as much of his root as I could from over there in the other bed and watered and watered and watered. I think he'll probably be okay. We'll see in the next 3 to 7 days, but I've had so many deer coming in this bed. This guy got topped. This poblano got topped. There's a tomato over there that got topped. So I think even though I get so many of these plants to self-seed and volunteer, probably should go ahead and start a tray of them early indoors so that they can get planted at the same time, or maybe even a couple weeks before some of my peppers and tomatoes, because they do help. But they have to be big enough to smell bad, which they smell really bad right now. And they have to get the spikes on the leaves to help keep the deer away. And when they're little babies, yeah, I even have rabbits sometimes nibble on these when they're little. All right, back to work. All right, so back over here. You probably don't really notice the spider flower missing. It's right where the water hose thingy sprayer was. But in another month, you would definitely know that it was there and it would block the light for a lot of these guys. The perennial spikes, there's 3. I relocated the old ones that were here over to that far bed. Puts 3 new ones in. They're evergreen here for me, so it'll give me a little bit of color here in the walkway during the winter. And then I planted 3 Lithidora. They look really rough right now because it's hot. They don't like the heat. So my idea, I'm going to go get some soil. I'm going to put it over top of all of the roots. Then I'm going to sprinkle some type of seed that will grow quickly over top of this to cover up the Lithidora until next early spring. All right, so I got that done. Weeded, put down some soil over top of the Lithidora. I have killed this variety, Lithidora, many times from the heat. It doesn't take the heat well here at all. So hopefully this will help save it. I did a combo of just basic white and then the Royal Carpet Sweet Alyssum all through there. My last bag of soil, last September, BJ's had these big bags, regular, I think they're around $15, $15.99, on clearance, $1.99. So that is why for the last, I don't know, 9-10 months, you have seen nothing but these blue bags, because I bought about 20-something bags, and I have used every one except this is it. This is the last bag for outdoor things. I did different things for my indoor starts. It's 4:04 p.m. and the 4 o'clocks are not opening for me. I have not seen them open yet, but I know they've been blooming. So hopefully they will open this afternoon while I'm out here. So evidently it is a temperature thing as well. So it is almost 7:30 at night. It's cooling off a little and they are just starting to open. I have white and yellow. Don't see any of that yellow open yet, but I definitely see some Japanese beetles. They seem to like them quite a lot. I'll check some pictures later if I can get them to open all the way up. I did read somewhere that you might have to come out here, you know, at night if it's super hot, and it's been super hot. So I've got my cardboard down for the edging because the weeds seem to be concentrated right there on the very edge. So I'm going to wet that, and then I'll put the mulch, and then I'll sprinkle mulch throughout all of the bed as well. It is pretty dark at this point. Still no yellow flowers open, only a few white. And I am on the back side of this one bed where I planted the knockout rose. And I have 2 artisan blush tomatoes left. And I'm tempted to put 1 on each side of the rose. Now I could get in trouble with the HOA for that, but I think I'm going to try because they're fairly, you know, maybe 5.5 foot tall when grown. So let's just see how they look. Guys, I am 94% done. So I wanted to go ahead and show you my patio peach, my 9 bark. That lemon balm will definitely grow back really quickly. These beautiful blackberry lilies. They are very invasive, so cut the pods off if you don't want them to spread. But I love this trio of these 3 together. And then I guess the 4th would be the lemon balm there. You can see I've relocated some coleus under the tree as well. I relocated this baby patio peach, and then this one just left there. And there's another and another over there. So all of this got thinned out, weeded. There's a mix of celosia, peppers. I left many of the peppers, but I had to relocate quite a few. Celosia. And I think that's it. Just celosia, peppers, and coleus for this section. Did relocate this dianthus as well. And then we've got a few different things starting over here. More of the celosia. Some petite zinnia, 1 on each side. This is my green wizard Rudbeckia. Got a lot of the 4 o'clocks. Perennial spike. Put those seeds down for the sweet alyssum. There's also some coleus tucked in into the shadier parts. If you hear funny noises, that's just my flip-flops. They're wet, so they're squeaking. Dianthus that I trimmed. Empty spots. Beautiful straw flower. These are the dwarfs. You can see in the background things are looking much nicer, so we'll get a closer look. Sweet potatoes, petunia, and black-eyed Susan vine. Same over here. Don't look at anything to the left because this is just, I gotta clean that up. And then I gotta work on this bed again. I just did it in February. The deer were eating on my corbels. And now, look, the walkway is clear. The UPS people will not even know what to think when they see this walkway. Trimmed all of these guys here. These guys will now get light, which will be great. Salvia. I say that 2 different ways all the time. Longevity spinach. More petunia. We're going to get back here in a second. And here's the back side. You can see I've got a pollinator bowl of water for the thirsty little guys. Got a couple of those I made up this week. Coleus, peppers, celosia, the back side of the perennial spike. And then this area is all cleaned up as well. These pots are cleaned up. I cut a pineapple to eat the other night. I decided to do that experiment to bury it and see if I can grow a new pineapple. who knows? I'm doubtful, but maybe. Relocated another coleus. Then we've got the Dusty Miller cleaned up. The calla lilies looking pretty. Put a picture here of what these Japanese irises look like, because they're done for the year. Blooms just that one time. And look, do you see? I did plant the tomatoes. But I don't know if anybody will notice but me. We'll see. All this got weeded, cleaned up. Still working on a few weeds back here. I accidentally pulled out poison ivy from over here a couple days ago. Turtle head. Very happy in this location. Super happy. I have some in a pot, so I have some to take with me, as well as some creeping Jenny. That can be very out of control as well. Invasive, you gotta watch it. But it'll grow in the shade. Looks like I've got some seeds I can harvest here of the turtle head. And then here's the back side of the longevity spinach. I've not tried it yet, but I probably should go ahead and eat some of it before somebody else does. And here we go. Tomato, tomato. They're both Artisan Blush, and those are the last two I had of that variety, and they were just sitting in those pots, just getting weaker and weaker. So I think they'll be fine and happy as long as I don't get in trouble with the HOA. So there we go. This area, so much better. I mean, it's so much more peaceful. I still need to put more mulching in that front bed there. And I'll probably put some more mulch back in through here. But it's just so much more peaceful and manageable and calm. The blackberries are gone. Just looks so much better. And I can walk. I can walk right through here, which is pretty cool. It was a lot of work though. A lot of work in the heat. But I'm so glad I got it done. Hope you learned a couple things along the way, maybe. Or at least got to share in my kind of musings on whatever I'm encountering that day, like the 4 o'clocks. They did open. The white ones did open last night, as I showed you. Not seen the yellow open yet, and I couldn't smell anything. Maybe it's just my nose, but oh well. All right, guys. Hope you're having a great gardening week. Talk to you soon. Bye.